Wow, that's an interesting one. Really? Hello. I'm just keeping up with the news. I found out that they're cracking down on immigration in Australia, and the police are cracking down on drugs. And I can see that, wow, some kind of virus has broken out in China. And as well as that, there was some riots recently in New York, but they have died down, so that's okay. Let's hope it doesn't get out of hand. So many scandals, gossip too. All right, so I'm going to be talking about the news today. How to talk about the news in English. I'm going to give you some phrases, some common phrasal verbs to use when talking about the news. Let's do it. So the news is a popular topic of conversation, isn't it? When we're having some chats with people. And many of my students ask about this. How can I talk about the news? Here are 4 phrasal verbs that you will hear often in news stories on TV and newspapers. They are keep up with, crack down on, break out, and die down. 4. Let's go. So, what does keep up with mean? To keep up with. I'm keeping up with the news. I haven't been keeping up with the news lately. Keep up with means to keep informed of the latest information. Keep up with the news. Get the latest information. You can use it in other ways. It means to match the speed or the level of something. For example, Johnny couldn't keep up with the other kids in the mathematics class. It means he couldn't meet the same level. He was behind the other kids. Or, I went for a marathon run last year, but I couldn't keep up with the other runners. I couldn't match their speed. But we often use it to talk about the news and keeping informed. Number 2, crack down on. To crack down on. So this is a common phrasal verb used in the news. I was watching the news last night actually, and I heard this one. So they said something like, the government needs to or wants to crack down on immigration, which is happening in Australia. Maybe it's not a good thing, I don't know, but crack down on. What does it mean, do you think? To crack down on someone or something means to put restrictions or limitations on it, or to become really strict about enforcing a rule. So, for example, the government wants to crack down on immigration. It means they want to become stricter about how many people they let into the country. So they will make some restrictions and allow less people into the country. Or the police are cracking down on drugs. Present continuous form. The police are cracking down on drugs. This means the police are becoming more strict about the use of drugs. And so they are watching everyone and looking for drug dealers much more often now. Crack down on. Number 3, to break out. Break out. What does that mean? So, for example, a virus has broken out in Asia. So, has broken out. We have the present perfect form. A virus has. This is the third person, so we put has. Broken, the third verb. Break, broke, broken. Has broken out. These words go together. Break out. Broken out. So this means suddenly a virus has spread. So a virus, an illness or a disease has spread into a large area quite suddenly. When something breaks out, it happens very suddenly. Another example. Some riots. A riot is when a large group of people fight in the streets, usually to protest against something they don't like in the government or in something that's happening in the world they don't like. So they protest and they riot. Maybe they break things and they fight in the streets. So you can say, some riots have broken out. Present perfect. Or last week, riots broke out. So when something breaks out, it's often violence. Suddenly some violence takes place, some violence happens, or some fighting. War can break out as well. It's usually something undesirable, something negative. Okay, and the last one, to die down. The cyclone in North Queensland has died down. Present perfect. It means recently. Has died down. What do you think about this one? To die down means to reduce in strength or become quieter or less. So the cyclone has died down. That means it's gotten smaller and much less strong. You can also say the riots, the fighting in America that was happening because of Trump's presidency has died down. Has died down, meaning it's not so strong anymore. It's become less. The scandal has died down. A scandal is when something happens in the media, in the public forum. When something happens in the public forum, usually between two people, two celebrities, two famous people, and maybe it's an affair or maybe they did something illegal, and it comes into the media and everyone is talking about it. It's a scandal. For example, when Bill Clinton and Monica Lewinsky got together and had an affair. This is a bit old. This happened in the 90s, so maybe you're a bit young for this, but this was a scandal. So a scandal may be true, it may not. We don't know necessarily. Yeah, so, but it's when everyone is talking about it and everyone is talking in the media about it. You can say the scandal has died down. It's similar to gossip. So gossip is when people talk about other people. So many people do this, don't they? You can read gossip in, the tabloid newspapers in England, which talk about celebrities and famous people, and they make stories about their boyfriends and girlfriends and their private lives. Most of it is not true. Maybe a little bit is true, but most of it is not true. This is gossip. All right? We call this gossip. So there we go, talking about the news in English. You have 4 useful and common phrasal verbs to use for this one. Keep up with, crack down on, break out, and die down. Make some sentences with these. Leave me a comment below. Tell me about the news. What has been happening in your country lately? I hope everything is safe for you and everything is okay. But tell me what has been happening. Make some sentences. All right. Wishing everyone peace across the world, and I will see you in the next video lesson. Bye. That looks like an interesting thing. Let's start again. Oh, that looks like an interesting one. Whoa. Let's do it! Ha!